Will.
And I'm Bella,
Welcome to Holy Matrimony.
a podcast where we discuss my journey into the world of professional wrestling.
And each week, I'm going to guide you through my ultimate obsession.
Yes, and this week is a extra special fun episode.
It is.
But let me get through all of our podcast details before we get into that. So we do release new episodes every Thursday. If you want to keep up to date on the new episodes and some fun content that we post, you can follow us on social media. We are on X and Instagram at Holy Matrimony. That's HOLYMATCHRIMONY. You also can find our podcast on most of the major podcast players. For those of you who watch us, you know we're on YouTube. So if you'd like to watch, you can go to our YouTube channel, Holy Matrimony Podcast. That's youtube.com/@holymatrimony. And of course, it's all the same spelling.
Yes, so please like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, follow, all those fun things to let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you want to see. We'd love to hear from you, and it really helps us out.
It sure does.
Alrighty.
Do you want to introduce the topic of this week's episode?
Sure. So the topic of this week's episode is Raw.
Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw. And it's very special because we were actually live in attendance this week at Raw.
We were. And it was even better than my first live experience, which started this whole podcast.
Yes. So I guess let's just start off by answering that. So it was better for you.
Yes. Now, I think obviously I could only go up from my first experience, right? Because I wasn't into wrestling, and then that first experience is what kickstarted this. So obviously, like now being into it and understanding what's going on and the storylines and having favorites, obviously it's better. But of course, there's a big thing that made this better for probably both of us.
Yes, which you want to say what that big thing is?
Yes, we got to sit ringside.
We did.
And so, I mean, it was the side with the announcers. So we were literally right by the Prime hydration station. Like, we're right behind that.
Yes.
But obviously, I think sitting that close was just like a whole nother experience. And I mean, you know, shout out to your parents for
helping us out.
Giving us that opportunity to go.
Yes.
So just a little shout out. I know you guys watch.
Yes. Thank you very much. But yeah, so some big things there. We were obviously, as you said, right by the Prime hydration station, which also means you were very close to Pat McAfee.
Oh my gosh. And I don't know if I've really explained on this podcast how much Pat makes this whole wrestling experience for me.
Yes.
And oh yeah, I was like literally, it's like, it was almost like you're sitting next to him in a way,
yes.
Right? But also I did have a sign. So if you go on our Instagram,
Yep.
I did post our signs so you could see them. There's also some you can see live if you watch the show. We'll talk about that. But I had a sign that said, "I'm here for Pat."
Yes.
And I think my whole world was made because he acknowledged it like twice. Like he looked right at it and like pointed at me, and I was like so happy.
Yes. So, you know, on where we were sitting also, like, was right in front. We weren't the first row, we were second row back, but right there where Pat, like, walked by us to have to, like, I think he had to like, go to the bathroom or something during one of the breaks, so he like, walked right by us. So we were pretty close.
Oh, yeah. We were, like, right there. Like, I could literally see the lines on his and Michael Cole's face. That's how close we were. Like, they were right there.
Yes. So before we get into the actual show itself, we probably should go into a couple details that were really fun, I think. Just the experience of being there live.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, I mean, because you can kick that off, but you tell me, where does this rank in your experiences of wrestling live shows? Because you've gone to quite a few.
Yes. So again, the ones I've been to before, I was a child, a kid, you know, right up into my teenage years. This is definitely the best so far for me. I've had some really fun ones, and I've sat, you know, I sat not ringside, but on the floor seats to a live show one time. It was not televised. That was fun because of the interaction, but this definitely ranks top for me.
Now, was it because of that ringside experience, or was it like the show itself, kind of like a mix?
I think a little of both. I mean, as we get into it, obviously we'll see, but I think it was a really good Raw. That helps. So the Raw that being good helps. The ringside experience was really awesome. Yeah, so I think it was a little bit mix of both.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, what are some of these fun extra things you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, speaking of Pat, we were just talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
He did have the whole crowd help him celebrate Michael Cole's 60th birthday by singing "Happy Birthday" to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really fun.
Yes, so I just think that was a fun little tidbit of like when the show goes off the air, there are times where they try to make fun stuff happen and make you excited, and that was a cool experience.
Yeah. Did you think that made the 3 hour show? Because I thought the lights were up and they had the cameras on.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, okay.
I would assume that was just a commercial thing.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, because the Hulu version obviously didn't have that, but I wasn't sure because, like I said, the lights and stuff were up, but I don't I don't know how this works yet, so I couldn't tell if like they did that did go live.
No, I mean WWE's notoriously famous for filming everything if it's not going to put on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe that was on TV. I think that was
Okay.
just him doing that.
But oh, it was so fun.
Yes.
It was so cool.
Yes. Any other thoughts you have on like the overall experience before we get into like the show itself and what you thought?
I think so. A little side note: we talked about the Prime Hydration Station. This bottle, we're not being sponsored, so that's why you know what this looks like. I'm not showing you the logo, but I'm gonna say it a million times anyway. But we are not sponsored, Prime. Thank you. But first of all, that was cool because this was actually handed out from the actual hydration station.
Yeah. So anybody listening and not watching, we do have a bottle here
Oh, yes.
on our desk.
Yes, yes. Sorry for those who don't watch, but that was just cool because obviously, like, I think since WrestleMania, that's like the whole thing, right? The Prime Hydration Station.
Yes.
So I was so excited to like sit right by it, and it was cool because I actually got a Prime from the hydration station. But what I will say is that is terrible placement of that giant bottle.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if you're sitting on that side, oh man, does it just sit right in the way? And it's funny because like so many people behind us were like yelling like move the Prime bottle, like
Yes, they
move
were.
the bottle because it's just like in the worst spot. So it's like so cool, but yeah, if you're sitting right there, those are not the seats you want to sit in.
Yeah. The only other thing I'll say that I wasn't a big fan of, now that you said that, kind of reminded me of it, was the last time we went. It was the same arena,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the stage has the giant Tron.
Yes.
They don't have the giant Tron anymore. And I know they do that because in other arenas, if they sell out, they can add more seats behind it. And I get
Mhm.
that. But where we were at, because our vision was blocked by the Prime Hydration Station, there are times where being able to see straight forward and watching the Tron would be nice instead of having to look up
Oh yeah.
at the big Tron up. So my only two gripes about it, obviously I still think it was fantastic. It was great, but two small things, I think.
For sure. And this is like a complete side note, but we were talking about this leading. I've been talking about it for weeks now. There is always somebody dressed as Macho Man Randy Savage
There is.
at like every show, right? Because we've watched them, and there's always somebody on camera dressed that way. And I remember the last time we went live, my first live show, there was somebody dressed
Yes.
as Randy Savage. And I remember leading up to it, I was like, oh my gosh, do we have to dress as him? Like, does somebody get the memo? Because I can't go to the first Raw and however many I've seen where somebody's not dressed as Randy Savage. So I was like, is this going to happen? And I remember when people were coming in, nobody was Randy Savage, and I was freaking out. And then finally, somebody walked in, and man, I mean,
Yes.
he did. It was good.
It was good.
He went all out.
I mean, let's be honest, probably the same guy that did it last time.
No, because when we went last time, it was a girl.
Oh, okay.
It was a female. She dressed as him, which
Okay, so-
hers was great too. No, his was great, and I love that he was on camera too. So if you
Yes.
watch the show, you see him. He's back there. But I need to know where, like, is there an email message that goes out? Because it's never two. It's always one guy
Yes.
or girl, whatever. There's just one Randy
person,
Savage.
One person, yeah.
So who's like this dedicated person? Like, how do you know if you're it not to dress like him? How do you know like you're gonna be on camera?
I think it's like Willy Wonka, like it's a golden ticket, you
Okay.
know, or like it's you get the ticket and you're like, oh, I have to do it. I have to do this now, I guess.
Or is it like a vision? Like he comes to you like in a dream or something?
You see the Macho Man in your dreams.
Yeah, and he's like, it's you.
Yeah.
And you just are like, oh, okay, you got to get it.
Maybe next time we go, maybe that'll be us.
So, question for anybody who like does these live events and knows like how does this happen? I need to
Is
know.
it everybody's turn once? And everybody gets it once.
Yeah, like is this ever something I'm going to have to be ready for? Should I get a costume?
Just have it ready.
Yeah.
Go,
So those are
in
just
case.
like little fun side notes from
Yes.
being at the show, for sure.
Yes.
I guess too, like this is not so much because we're gonna get into the matches. I want to say though, that experience is so wild. Like we were sitting so close, and no, I'm not trying to like flex on you guys and stuff. We're just like talking about it, but it was like we're so close to them, you could see everything the same way like it's on camera. It was
Mm-hmm.
almost kind of like this surreal experience because we're so close watching this, and I'm like, oh, I this is it. It feels the same as when you're watching it on TV. And, obviously you see everything because the cameras are right up on them, but we're like just there live watching them.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree. Like, we'll get into some of those, but especially the ones that got really close to like that ringside area. Man, you could like you can't. I'm supposed to, but you could almost get out and just like touch them. Like that's how close you are.
Oh, yeah. But even just the ring, like watching the matches, like it's just right, except the prime bottle. It's like right there and you just see every single thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So cool.
It was awesome. Yeah. So great experience. If anybody has an opportunity to do that one day, I definitely suggest you try to take that opportunity.
Oh, for sure. And I'd say on any side, obviously, a lot of people like to sit on camera side so they can be on camera. Some people like to sit on the other side because that's where they face the camera. So that's obviously, you're going to get the best experience. But honestly, just anywhere, if you do ever have that opportunity, I would totally take it. It's just completely different. I don't know where I can go to like live events and not have that experience now.
Right.
So I don't know.
Set our standards up there pretty high now.
Yeah, but that's okay. Because it was
Yes.
also a good show, like you said.
It was a good show. I mean, we had 4 King of the Ring matches that were all really good matches. I'm sure we'll get into some of those. We had a few other matches that were fun in their own ways.
Yes, yeah, because obviously we have the Hulu version. Yes, we don't have live TV.
No.
So it is cool to also be able to actually watch all of the matches and to just have that experience.
Yes, instead of having to go to the Hulu version, watch the hour and a half, and then check on YouTube for anything that we might have missed that we want to see.
Well, and they definitely don't put everything.
No.
Because obviously one of the fun parts of this show was the whole Alpha Academy, right, Chad?
Yes.
They did not make it. Sorry, they did not make it to the Hulu version.
No.
But we love Chad, don't we?
Oh, bad Chad, mad Chad, sad Chad. I love it.
Glad Chad. He was not glad or sad Chad. He was only mad Chad and bad Chad last night.
I mean, he was glad Chad for like a split second in the Akira Tozawa match because he was all smiling and said I taught him that. He was glad Chad for like a split second.
Yeah, but that match lasted like 5 seconds. So
yes,
he was pretty much like mad Chad and then bad Chad when he yelled at him like the rest of the time. So that was kind of cool. Obviously, that was the 2 matches because then it was also Otis and Sammy.
Yes.
So obviously the people who watched the full show, they got to see the whole thing. But for the Hulu people, obviously you missed both of those matches. But it was so cool because Chad was like right there too.
Yes, he like looked right at in my soul. I think.
Yeah,
I was shushing him, and I think he looked right at me.
Oh, he did not like that.
He
did not like that. But because he was mad Chad.
He was mad Chad. But yeah, I mean, very fun. Again, very short matches, both of them. But like fun, very cool to see live, up close and personal. Like that was awesome.
Yeah. So what was like your favorite match then of the night?
Talking just the match itself.
Like
right?
the matches, yes.
That's hard because I really liked of the matches themselves. I think it has to be either Gunther and Kofi or Jay and Ilya.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say the Fatal 4-Way.
So that was my favorite moment.
Okay.
Yes, the match itself was good, but that was a favorite moment.
Oh, okay. But actual match, it was one of the 2.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, obviously, Gunther is my boy.
Yes.
I wore my Gunther shirt. I'm wearing it again today.
Yes.
I was like the only person wearing a Gunther shirt. Nobody else, right? Because like there was so many shirts, so many things. I personally didn't see some. If you're out there and you're like, wait, I had it. I didn't see you. Okay. But obviously I was so excited to see him. I was mad that Ludwig didn't come out with him.
I know.
What am I doing here? I bought his action figure. What is like?
Yeah.
He should have came out for me.
But he didn't get the memo.
No, and I was like, maybe he's not there, but he was there. He was backstage.
Saw him backstage. Yeah.
So why he didn't come out, I don't know. But Gunther did come out. He came out twice. But it was also fun to watch him that close, and he won that match with Kofi, which obviously he was going to. But I think it was cool too because I like him so much because he is just like this like intimidating, like subtle. Like he doesn't have to like do these long speeches or anything. He just has this presence.
Yes.
And yeah, he's like that. Because first of all, I've always been like, oh yeah, he's really tall, right?
Yes.
No, he is. He's like a big dude. But yeah, it's just so intimidating, and I love it.
Yeah, I think it's like you see on TV, he's tall, but again, seeing him in person that close, you're like, oh yeah, he's a big dude.
Oh yeah, I mean, because they all are. Because side note, they didn't have any matches, but Drew and Damien came out, and they had their moment at the beginning. And for both of them too, I'm always like, geez, those dudes are so tall. But it was so cool to see both of them that close as well.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of that, Pete, that part of it, if you watch, you can definitely see your McIntyre 546 sign.
Oh my gosh. And it looks so good on camera. We were so proud of that sign because we took so much time trying to make it perfect. And yes, that sign definitely made it on camera when Drew walks out. I know some people are going to be like, you're just imagining it. No, he dead looked at my sign too and looked at me because when he walked around, I know he saw it.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not going to acknowledge it, but because, he's like in his character. But I was like, yes.
Yes. So you can definitely see that during that opening sequence when Drew walks around the ring. You can see it right there.
Yeah, remember, we're by the Prime bottle, the Prime Hydration Station, and it's the McIntyre 546 sign. You could see it on Instagram if you want the exact sign.
Yes.
It was there. It made it.
Yes. So I guess we should probably talk about another sign that made it of ours then.
Oh, yeah. Well, unless you want to wait until we talk about that match.
Yeah, we can wait.
Because that's a big match, I think, for us. A lot happened then. But but yeah, I agree. The Gunther Kofi match was good. Because obviously, like, Kofi is just like a good wrestler. And I think it just went well with like what I like with Gunther. I just think they worked really well together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was cool. Again, they did stuff on the announce table, so they're really close. But like the whole flow of the match, the like almost getting counted out, having to get saved, and then all of a sudden just like I think the power bomb into the pin and then flipping him over to making Kofi tap. I know he's done it before, but like it's so cool to see.
No, yeah, it was a good match, and obviously I'm happy because Gunther's going to the next round of King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Because he is going to be the King of the Ring.
That's what you say?
Oh, it's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, but yeah, anyway, we can, if you want to wait on the Jay and Ilya, we can talk about the Fatal 4-Way. Because that was probably your most exciting, like for you.
Yes, let's go to that one now.
Because if you watch, you could like just see our faces here and there, like if you watch the Hulu version or live version or the 3-hour version. But if you catch Will's face that whole match, you're just like cheesed.
I am. I was so excited.
You were having such a good time. Now, you have to explain why you're having such a good time on that match.
Okay, so a couple things. First of all, most of those people in that match I really love. Right? I love Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I love New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate,
big strong boy, yeah.
Tyler Bate. So I love all of those people.
Mm-hmm.
So this match, and then the Creeds are awesome.
Oh, I love the Creed brothers.
So I was just cheesed for that match in general. Plus,
The
Miz and R-Truth came out.
Oh my gosh, and they were right there.
They were right there.
And we were right there too.
Yes.
I was so excited.
So all of that, I was super excited for, just in general, right?
Yes.
But I also am a big fan, and have been, because, since I was watching when I was a kid, of Carlito.
Mm-hmm.
And I even had a sign for Carlito.
Yeah. And you did really good on that sign too.
Thank you. Yeah, if you want to see it it's on Instagram, but I said Carlito's not cool.
And who else had a Carlito sign? Nobody ever?
A single person.
But on any? I've never seen a Carlito sign.
No. And we just saw the segment earlier with Carlito and the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, this is my chance. Something might happen.
Mm-hmm.
And during that match, Carlito runs right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Again, right where we were sitting, he was right in front of us. And it's when he gives the backstab around to the table. And during that segment, you can see, I think I gave the sign to Bella to hold so I can watch. But you can see that sign in my face. Just so excited on that. Like right there, right in front of us.
Yes. And it sucks because he didn't turn to see it.
No.
We tried, but that's
okay.
But it's on camera. It's so cool. It was a cool moment. I mean, honestly, that whole match, because like you said, obviously, you do really like Finn.
Yes.
So, Judgment Day comes out first, and then New Catch Republic, which you really like. Well, you like Pete Dunne.
I like both of them. I do, but Pete Dunne's
like your favorite. But obviously, Big Strong Boy.
Big Strong Boy Tyler Bate, and he was a Big Strong Boy today.
He was a Big Strong Boy, like always. For a second, I thought he wasn't going to be, but he did. But then I really like the Creed brothers.
Yes.
And so they came out next, so I was like, oh, Creed brothers. And then I am liking Authors of Pain.
Yes.
I haven't seen much of them, and with their wrestling style, I haven't really seen a lot of that, but I mean, they're just these huge dudes, right?
Yeah.
Like so cool, like their whole like persona, their look, so good.
Yeah.
And so we were ready because it should have been a really good match
Yes.
when we just saw who all was in it, and then it was. I think it was fun.
Yeah, I think it was fun. I mean, I think the Creed shined and like the Brutus picking him up and doing all their suplexes that they do. Like they're really good at that stuff. And
Oh yeah,
like so I think it was just really good overall. I was super excited for it. You know, Tyler Bate doing big strong boy stuff.
I know. Because when Brutus, I think he picked up. I can't remember which one, Occam or
I don't remember
Razor.
which
I
one it
don't know which one
was.
it was. Or he might have picked up both of them. But I was like, dang, if he's picking him up, then maybe the big strong boy won't have his moment because I'm like, he's probably they're not gonna do that with the Creed brothers,
Right.
right? Even though it's like all against, but they weren't gonna do that to him, and so I was so scared. And then finally, he picked him up, and I can't remember which one he picked up again either. Sorry guys, Occam or Razor, but he picked one of them up,
Yep.
spun him around like 80 times,
Like he does. You know.
just big strong boyed it.
Yep. But then, like I said, then seeing Carlito come out, give the
Mhm.
backstabber on the table, which is so cool. Such a cool move. Just gonna throw your knees in the back and fall down. It's so cool.
Oh yeah, it was clean.
Yeah.
He did it really well.
And then, then that's how the match ends, and they're so excited, and like Finn gets the pin, and yeah, I just loved it. It was really fun, and like for me personally, it was a great moment.
Oh yeah, I knew when we found out, and then you were hoping Carlito would come out, but we didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, so I originally made the sign before Rey Mysterio lost the King of the Ring match over the
Mhm.
weekend. So I was like, okay, well, assumed that Rey Mysterio would win the King of the Ring match, and maybe Carlito would come out to cost him. And so then when I saw that Rey Mysterio lost it over the weekend, I said, oh, dang it. He might not come out. But I still hoped. I still brought the sign anyways, just in case.
Mhm.
And I'm glad I did.
And he did.
Yes.
So yeah, no, that was definitely a really good one. I mean, I think there was a couple other fun moments, especially with some of the like outside moments, because we're so close, like so to see everyone coming out and all that. But I'm trying to think, which one did you like more, the Lyria?
So Lyra.
Oh, sorry, Lyra. Jeez, Lyra Valkyria. Sorry, I like always mix up her name. Or did you like the EO match better?
I kind of liked them both. Honestly, I think they're both good, but probably EO.
I mean, I love EO.
Right.
So it was cool to see her because we got to see her multiple times. We got to see her match, and then she also came out for the Becky and Dakota match.
Yes.
And she won, which
Yes.
is great. That was a wild crowd too for that because it was EO against Shayna,
Yes.
and it was like 50-50.
Yeah, at least where we were sitting, where we were sitting for sure, there's a lot of Shayna Baszler fans.
But there was also a lot of EO fans. So that was like a fun crowd match,
Yes.
I think, because it was so back and forth.
Split.
Everyone was so in it.
It was.
EO won, so I was happy because I really like EO.
The one thing I'll say about the EO, not necessarily the match, but something beforehand, was that had we got to the arena a little earlier, we could have been able to see them do their little outside altercation that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know we were standing in line, and some people walked up and they're like, "Hey, this just happened," and started talking to everybody about it. So now we know. Next time, get to the arena a little early. Let's go hang out where they're coming in and see if maybe they're gonna film something.
Yeah, because those guys were so excited.
Yes.
So I was like, dang it. And we were right there too.
Yes.
We were on the entrance that's like by that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I learned. But it was still cool. I mean, she was like right there a lot. So I still got to see her up close.
Yeah.
Like all damage control.
What did you think of the match itself, the EO Shayna match?
I thought it was good because I think I've said this to you before. I don't know how many times I've actually seen Shayna wrestle.
Maybe like once.
Yeah, and so obviously I think EO's great, but
Mhm.
you've said like Shayna's really good and people like her.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see, and I thought it was a good match. Because I did think the Lyra and Zoe match was good as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just different, obviously, but it's probably because I like EO. I was more invested in the EO one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so Shayna's background is she's like from MMA world.
Yes.
Done MMA. So like it was cool to see that play up against EO and the difference of styles there.
Yes. No, but I think they did great.
Yeah.
I think it was a really exciting match.
Well, and I think so the Lyra Zoe match, I like that one as well, and
Mhm.
I'm really starting to like Lyra. I think
Me
I think
too.
her character and stuff and her like moveset's cool, but I feel like you're probably liking Zoe a little bit more.
Well, it's just because Zoe, I think, is so good at playing like her character.
Mhm.
Great outfit too.
Yeah. Yeah, you said that.
But yeah, with those two, I guess like I couldn't say which one I necessarily was going for or not because I think they're just both great and
Mm-hmm.
it's fun to watch them. So that one, it was more I was like just really into the match itself and kind of like that back and forth because I guess I just didn't. I'm not invested in one of them to be like, no, that's the one I want to win.
Right.
But it was a good match.
It was. Just do what I did when I was there and root for both sides. I was constantly doing that.
That's what he did every time. And it's like, if it's your person, don't root for the other side.
But like, how do you not like, you know, sing along when people are singing along or like?
Okay, singing along's different. You straight would be like, oh, yeah, got him. And then somebody else, oh, yeah. Like, no, it's one or the other. Like, you have to at least be excited for
I
your
mean,
people.
I did that probably pretty hard during like the Gunther match, Kofi, because I like them both. How do you choose?
But you did that with every match,
I
though.
did.
Like, choose some, like, pick a side and stick with
Maybe I
it.
gotta be more definitive, and I'll start being more definitive. In who I
Especially for
choose.
the people you like. I mean, like, I have my people and I'm loyal. Now, when they go against each other, it's hard. But I'll still pick one.
Yeah, yeah. Which definitely gonna ask you some questions about that later.
Okay.
Because I do have some questions.
Yeah, so, we'll we'll see,
Yeah, we'll circle back around to that.
Now, speaking of somebody who I guess you think I'm starting to like more and more,
Yeah.
we should talk about the big match of the night, the main event.
Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to hold on just a second?
Oh, wait, why? What do you
Just
got?
because one cool part again
Oh, yeah.
was we're sitting there and I see the security start moving or start
Mhm.
shuffling around,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden we get a different security guard who's dressed in the suit, not normal security, and I'm like, something's going on.
Yep.
And who happened to pass right in front of us through the crowd?
That was Liv
Yep.
Morgan. Mm-hmm.
So just a cool moment that like I noticed all the security guard moving, and all of a sudden it's a different security guy sitting there. And then right after the match, Liv Morgan comes and walks straight in front of us to go attack Becky.
And we missed it too because you knew, and so we were watching the whole time, like watching the entrance, waiting because I was like, I'm going to film it because she's going to be right here.
Yep.
But then they got us because Lyra came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, maybe it's just Lyra. And so we were watching that. And then I got a little bit of her right in front of us.
Barricade.
Yeah, coming over the
Mhm.
barricade. But I was like, oh, we missed it. We knew it. And then they tricked us. And then she came anyway.
Yes. So just a little cool, again, another cool moment I wanted to at least touch on because we were right there.
Yeah, no, it was good.
So, all right, now let's get into somebody that I think you're starting to like.
Well, so I have to make a few apologies
Oh, okay.
with this match. First of all, I'm so sorry, Jimmy. I yeeted my little life out.
She did. She was eating hard for Jay.
It's multiple reasons, right? Because I was like, oh, it's against Ilya. Ugh.
Yep. Because you're not a fan of Ilya. You said that.
Yeah, I've said that before. Pat eats so hard, and
Yeah.
it's like I'm right by him. How can you not?
Yeah, it's like contagious.
And it is. It's just a whole vibe. Like everyone's eating. It's so much fun. I yeeted so hard.
Yes.
So I'm so sorry, Jimmy. That doesn't mean that I'm like Jay now. It's just when you're there, it's just like a move,
Mhm.
I also have to apologize to Jay
Yes.
because I don't think I've said this on the podcast, or I might have made a
You
comment.
might have, yeah.
Every time I see him, I just dog on him for his shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, because how does Jimmy have like the best kick game in WWE, and Jay just wears some just like plain white, it might be like Air Force Ones or something, but
Yeah, they're just plain white
they're just plain white.
Nikes. I don't know. I don't know what they are. I haven't looked at them enough.
Yeah,
to
like
see.
Jay, like he goes all out,
Right.
right? They're always different. They match. They're so good. And here's Jay with just some white sneakers on, right? But we found out because at the end,
Yep.
after the show cut, he signs each one and then throws it into the crowd.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if he does it all the time, but if so, that makes more sense.
Yes. So if that's what he does, then you're giving your apologies.
Yeah, I'm saying sorry because I've just been dogging on you for your kick game. But it makes so much sense because if you're just going to sign him and throw him, why would you have like really nice ones?
Yes.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, which I agree. That makes sense.
Now I didn't get one. It's fine. But
No, he threw them way too high.
which it's cool. He threw them out so like the people in like the middle sections could get it.
Yes.
My third apology is to Ilya
Oh, okay. I want to hear this.
because my history with Ilya I talked about a little bit, but I saw that one match you showed me that one
Mhm.
time when he was still in NXT. I was like, oh, he's so dramatic. And every time, like, I'd seen him after, even not in matches, he's just, like, so dramatic, right? His face is just so dramatic.
Yeah.
But then last week, he was in a
With
match
Ricochet.
with Ricochet. And I love Ricochet, too. And I was like, man, that was a good match.
Yep.
And I was like, not just because of Ricochet. I was like, okay, I see why you guys like Ilya.
Yes.
Because he is a good wrestler. I saw it. I was
Yes.
like, oh, he's like really good, you know? And then this match too, I don't know what it is about him. I still don't like his like overly dramatic face, but there's something about him.
He's got a personality, huh?
Oh, and it's I'm
It's like
like
infectious.
I'm
Like,
kind of liking it.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I went so hard on him that I just did not like him. And I think the more and more I see him, the more I'm gonna like him.
I saw you watching the match, and I said that in my head. I said, "Oh, she's starting to like Ilya."
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
It's because he's good.
I think he is good, and I think like even though he is overly dramatic, it like fits his personality. There's still sometimes I'm like, all right, relax.
Yeah.
But it's
It
yeah,
works
it's
for his
good.
personality.
It does. So I'm sorry, Ilya. I like went so hard on you, and now I'm here like, oh, he's kind of I don't know.
Yeah.
I might have to, get like a ridiculous outfit and start doing the conducting shit that he or stuff that he
That he
does.
does.
Yeah.
um. So I like that. I like
Mhm.
to hear that. I would have to say I'm gonna confess something here.
Okay.
I am now officially a Jey Uso fan.
Oh my gosh.
I
Is it
know.
just because of the eating?
It's not. I mean, that's part of it. Obviously, it's.
It was the eating.
I think that he has a like a charismatic personality in person. I think when you watch
Mhm.
him in person, it's way different than watching him on TV. I think.
Yeah, I see that. Like I said, what I've liked about him is his little like funny, quirky moments and
Yes.
stuff. Wrestling wise, he's obviously not bad,
Yes.
but just definitely not my favorite style or just my favorite in actual ring.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it was the eating that got you.
I mean, it might have been. The whole crowd's doing it, and he's. How do you not?
I mean, I understand that. Doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, Jay fan.
Yeah. No, I think I'm all in Jay's corner now.
Yeah, and so is everyone else. And there was literally people wearing a no yeet shirt yeeting.
Yeah.
You can't do that. If I wore my no yeet shirt, I would have never done that.
You would have.
No, I wouldn't have
If
because
Pat was
that's
eating, you would have eaten.
no, because I'm wearing a shirt. How can I go against
If
it?
Pat looked at you and started eating, you would have eaten.
If he would have asked me to eat, but if he didn't, I would have said no.
But yeah, no. I mean, so that whole match I think was really good. That was one where I was definitely cheering for both sides because I really don't know who I like more because I see what you're seeing with Ilya,
Mhm.
but I'm also starting to see it with Jay. I think the crowd reaction to Jay, I think he's on fire right now.
Oh yeah, it scares me because I'm like, oh my gosh, is he gonna win this King of the Ring? Because people love him so much, and I'm like,
He
no.
might. He might.
Uh, he can't be Gunther. I'm sorry, he just can't. And you know that. You know that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gunther's gonna win, but there's a chance, and I think that's the best kind, right? It's the most exciting thing is that you don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, I agree. I think with this King of the Ring, we're pretty much like we have no idea. I think Queen of the Ring, we have more
I don't know. I really did
guesses.
have some. Yeah, maybe, but
Who's actually going to win it in the end is what I'm unsure about. But I think we kind of feel like who's going.
yes,
We'll kind of have to wait till this SmackDown to see.
yes,
But because I think we believe EO from Raw is at least going.
that would be my. I mean, I could see Lyra going, depending on who SmackDown puts up. If it's a, you know what I mean.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would assume it's probably gonna be EO.
But we talked about coming from SmackDown. We really don't think it is. It's not going to be somebody who they put against Lyra.
Yeah,
So we think it's most likely Jade and EO, maybe Bianca and
maybe,
EO.
but yeah,
But who wins that? I have no idea.
no.
But
So
King of the Ring, we're not even sure who's making it to the final round because we have so many theories and matchups that could happen.
no, because I mean, I'll tell you, I was even unsure with Jay Ilya. Like I figured Jay would win,
Mhm.
but they've been building up so much that Ilya was the one that beat Gunther. I was like, they could do Ilya versus Gunther again.
Mhm.
So I was really unsure, but I mean, I had a guess that Jay was gonna win, but I
Yes.
really don't know because there's some rumblings that maybe if Tama Tonga gets to King of the Ring, it's Tama versus Jay. That could start that, but I don't know.
Which I totally see. Obviously, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not for that because I want Gunther to go. But yeah, yeah, we're really not sure about that one. I could see so many matchups.
Yeah. So it makes it really exciting though because
Yeah,
there's so many awesome matchups that it could have and possibilities.
yeah, and I said I'm sick of just guessing everything correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to brag. maybe a
Mm-hmm.
little.
Maybe a little.
But yeah, it's cool to actually have something that I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I agree. So that's a great segue into circling back around to something you're not sure about.
Okay.
So we saw Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Priest said Drew McIntyre could have a shot at his World Heavyweight Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know when that's going to happen. We're probably going to guess that it'll happen, you know, after King of the Ring sometime.
Yes. Yes.
What are your thoughts? Who are you going to go for? It's your two dudes.
I know it's so hard because even like their little opening segment,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that was a good point. Oh, that was a good point. You know, like back and forth. It's so hard because I really like both of them. It was obviously hard at WrestleMania, to watch Drew win and then Damian be the one that takes it. I think
Mm-hmm.
that moment was like so elevated and high though. It was like fun because you were
Right.
like, oh, it sucks for Drew, but you're like, oh, that was so cool. Damian finally cashed in. Um, I think oh, gosh, yeah, this is hard. But I think at the end, Drew was like my first wrestler that I watched and like got into. Like he honestly was the reason that I even started paying attention at that first live event.
Right.
So I have to give that respect of like, well, I'm only here because of you,
Right.
really. So it has to be Drew probably.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume that Drew's going to win because I would assume
Oh.
it's going to take place at Clash at the Castle.
Oh, then yeah, Drew's winning because they're
Right.
not gonna let him lose again. not in his home.
I don't think so. But now again, let's go into like my conspiracy,
Mhm.
trying to see how things would work out. I would assume Drew wins the Clash at the Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow due to Judgment Day. Whether it's they're
Yes.
kind of bumbling idiots and they cost Drew, right? And that'll lead up to SummerSlam where Drew will face CM Punk for the title and Damian Priest could face Finn Balor for like Judgment Day.
I mean, side note though, can he face CM Punk in SummerSlam? Because Drew last night said that he won't be cleared for like 20 years.
Yeah, I think Drew's there's a little hyperbole I think in his.
I don't know. He's been out for a while.
Yeah, he has been out for a while.
And I
And
mean, Drew's willing to still fight even though he's injured. So, but CM Punk doesn't want to.
CM Punk didn't say he wasn't willing. He just, he's not cleared.
Well, I don't know.
He's
It's been a while since he hasn't been cleared. So
it's a triceps injury. It takes a long time to heal.
yeah, 20 years.
Not 20 years. No,
By then, I mean, he can't. How old will CM Punk be in 20 years?
that's not gonna happen. We're just gonna move past that. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen.
I'm saying Drew said, and Drew's pretty much always speaks facts. Almost always.
Okay. So, anyways, that's my prediction. Just throwing it out there. If it happens, it happens. I've been right quite a few times here.
So we're gonna have a rough SummerSlam because I'm all for Drew and you're all for CM Punk.
Oh yeah, for sure. One of us is sleeping on the couch.
Probably you.
Probably, no matter what happens. Probably.
Whether CM Punk wins or loses.
Yes,
Sorry, yeah.
it's okay. But I'm also very excited for King of the Ring coming up.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Because well, just not knowing what's gonna happen leading up is really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to see King and Queen of the Ring. Plus, we have a couple other matches that are gonna be fun going into that. So this is what you guys keep getting me with these pay-per-views. Like,
What?
give me a break.
Premium live events.
Oh my gosh, premium live events. Give me a break. Like, I can't. It can't be like monthly that I have to like build up and get it.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be teaching me historical things here about WWE, but we just keep having events that we have to talk about.
I mean, I think I've thrown in some historical things for you here and there.
Oh no, you've done a great job. You have.
Talk about King of the Ring, and you didn't know that started Austin 316, so I got you there.
I mean, oh yeah, that's because obviously I knew Austin 316, but
Yeah.
Where did it come from? I didn't know.
So I'm trying to teach you some stuff here, But
No, and you're doing great. It's just like,
Thank
well,
you.
we can't get so deep into stuff because, well, every other week there's some event that I have to talk about.
there is, yes, and that is the nature of WWE. That's part of being a
Mhm.
WWE fan.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
I do also just want to again just kind of say overall how much fun we had live. We're gonna post on social media some cool stuff we got there, like some merch and stuff that I think was just awesome. But I really wanted to just take that minute again to like before we kind of close out here and talk about what's coming up, just about how awesome it was.
Oh yeah, no, it was such an experience. It's hard to say that it was like my ultimate best ever live experience because we've had some really good concert experiences as well.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, but even at that, it's definitely up there. I don't know where I'd rank it even like amongst all live events. But I mean, I just we were excited for it, but I didn't realize like how great it actually was gonna be. I think
Yes.
because you just never know like what it's gonna be like sitting there and how it actually is being that close. And because my last live event is the reason that we're here, I was like, well,
Mm-hmm.
what if this one's just not as good? I don't know. I think I was prepared for the worst, even though I was super excited, and it just exceeded every expectation.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that it did for you, and that it didn't like it's just continuing to fuel the fandom that you have.
Oh yeah, and it was so cool to just see how excited you were. Like you were so happy and excited. Obviously, this is like your passion. And so for you to also have that experience after how many years of being a wrestling fan,
Yeah.
it was really cool just to be there with you for that.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I was super excited, and I'm sure I'm gonna try to get some videos up on social media to show it. But
Oh yeah, we'll try to find like a live part where you're just like cheesed if I could find your face.
yes,
And I'll post that. I don't know if we can get like that good of a shot, but I'll try.
I'll try to do. And but yeah, it was just a super great experience for me.
Good. And, speaking of, we kind of talked about this a couple minutes ago, because of all these events, we haven't been able to do a lot of like, you teaching me things or us kind of going back and talking about previous WWE events or people. Next week, we are going to try to do something like that.
Yes, we do have a very special episode next week. Where we go back in time a little bit, discuss a little bit about our histories with certain things, and should be a really fun episode.
Yes, we have been waiting for this one.
Yeah, it's actually one of the first things we thought about when we decided to do this podcast.
If not like the first, I
Yeah,
think it was like we decided what the podcast was about, and then we're like, oh, we have to talk about this. I'm not going to tell you because
no,
it needs to be a surprise. But yeah, so I'm excited to kind of be able to do a little bit of that coming off these events before King of the Ring, so that way we could talk about some other things besides the current events, and then obviously we'll go back into that.
yes. So I'm really excited for that next week, and definitely make sure you follow us and check us out.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun stuff on social media this week because of this event. So
We sure will.
you know, comment and tell us what you think of all that.
Yes, please do. Bella, I love wrestling.
I know.